What's up guys, KEVINCAGE here with another crypto update. Let's get right into it. First up, we have a new Hedera member. This company is one of the largest companies in terms of assets under management that I've seen join Hedera to date. This company is called Aberdeen, or ABRDN PLC, joins Hedera's governing council, cementing its vision for Web3 and client-centric fund management. This is a global investment firm which holds over 508 billion pounds, in assets, and that is still equivalent in terms of USD over $560 billion. We'll first move to make Hedera the technology of choice for investment fund tokenization. Now, in previous videos, we talked about Toko and a global law firm, DLA Piper as well, which is also on Hedera's council. And this is tokenization for anything, guys. This could be for real estate. This could be for insurance. This could be for security tokens and other companies to raise money, refinancing options. So the use case for Hedera's hash graph and their token HBAR is absolutely massive. I thought that we would have pumped a long time ago. The circulating supply from 9 billion of last September increased to 23 billion. It's just been a long road. Yes, I do believe that HBAR will in fact create a new all-time high price in the future. The question is, are we at our bottom? You can tell that the markets are maturing because even in 2017, when there was an article that came out about a speculative partnership with Walmart or anything, even if it was BS, the project would pump 20-30%. Granted, the market caps were smaller, it was less liquid, so it required way less volume to move the price, but man, HBAR's price just hasn't budged. We've had insane news. Am I confident in the future of HBAR? Yes, it's one of my biggest holdings. I've owned it since it launched. And that's not me bragging by any means, because I did not get a good price. It dumped on me, but I was able to DCA. The point is that HBAR has been in my portfolio for just over 3 years now. I'm familiar with it. I don't know all the ins and outs of the tech. I try to grasp it one day at a time, but I try to keep up as much as possible, reading all the blogs by HBAR Foundation, just launching partnerships left and right. So they're without a doubt building. And I know the price action has absolutely sucked. This is a bear market from an all-time high price of almost 58 cents all the way down. Even here, that's a 90% crash. If you consider that wick, and this is on the exchange, Binance, per the US dollar pair. Now we have this wick down here at 4.5 cents, but I'm personally struggling to see HBAR going that low unless Bitcoin dumps and brings it down. Because Coinbase said that they'll be listing HBAR this month. And for me, I'd still assume, or at least hope for, some type of speculative pump. So Aberdeen is an absolute behemoth, planning to use Hedera's hash graph to transform structural inefficiencies that exist in the fund management industry. And it sees Hedera as the technology of choice. Strong governance, operational efficiency, and the environmental sustainability. Now, I know everybody has their own critique of certain networks saying that Hedera is not 100% decentralized, and personally, as an investor in HBAR, that's true to a certain extent, but this is an enterprise DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization of some of the world's biggest companies. Do you think these global companies on Hedera's governing council right here care about being 100% decentralized? No, these are the world's biggest organizations: Google, Boeing, Aberdeen. ServiceNow, which has huge plugins, Shinnin, where they did a central bank digital currency pilot, Tata, Swirls, LG, also announcing that they're building an HBAR wallet, DBS, one of the largest banks in Singapore that also trades XRP, Deutsche Telekom, which is also on Hyperledger's foundation with Ripple and Casper, Ubisoft. No, they don't. What they care is that these titans have control of the network. And this is just my personal opinion. I think what matters is that these companies all have a say and can vote for governance. We have to think about where we're at today with some of these companies. Right now, it's typically under a single company. There's no redundancy. It's not distributed. Not everybody has a copy of a shared ledger. So it's really based on trust. If you can get some of the world's biggest organizations that have other subsidiaries and hundreds, if not thousands of companies connected to them, and then all of these companies around the globe can share a ledger, that is way better than what we have today. So either way, for me, HBAR is a no-brainer. It is a better solution. So for anybody to preach about decentralization and centralization, yes, it matters, but there's a variety of use cases. We're not going to a perfect world of sunshine and rainbows. What we're doing, though, is significantly better than what we have today. It is still becoming significantly more decentralized. A world where there's a little bit more trust between some of the world's biggest institutions. And for any Bitcoin maximalists, Bitcoin has had double spending. Bitcoin has been hacked early days. You could talk about Ethereum Classic. It's been hacked. There's been a variety of blockchains that have been forked. For me, for people just to hate on HBAR because it's trying to be the world's first enterprise DAO is silly. I'm a big critic of Solana, and even though a lot of people did extremely well and a lot of VCs just got in for pennies on the dollar, then it did a 500x, there were still a lot of retail investors that did well and made a lot of money, which is awesome. I just cannot get behind Solana. They've lied about the supply, they've changed it. I know it performed well, but remember, just because an asset performs well in terms of price does not mean it is a good network and is robust for the future. Now Solana, I mean what, they're selling shoes, they're in retail stores. But the network was just down again, and now we have proof that also Binance's network was down and that they can freeze the actual network. Everybody preaches about decentralization. They hate XRP, they hate HBAR, which I don't understand. The XRP ledger cannot be frozen whatsoever. Yet Binance is freezing the network, and there's a list of other alts that can freeze the network, which is just crazy. And price performance today does not mean it is a good asset in the future. And with that being said, I believe that Hashgraph has huge potential. Aberdeen has over 5,000 employees globally, and this is just another behemoth building solutions on Hedera. And looking at the HBAR price chart, we are back down to 6 cents, almost where we were previously when we got that first retracement, came back down and blasted through that same level to begin its bullish impulse. Turning the lights on and going over the chart, the same thing, just a basic game of support and resistance. What we've been doing for the past 3 months is using the March-April high Fibonacci retracement, and I'm using this swing low at 4.5 cents. Why? Because I like that 382 setup, just like XRP. So we did the same thing with Casper and XRP, and I just want to point out right there, that wick is right around that 382, or at least around that zone, around 13 cents. This is just a trend line I'm looking at. This would be awesome if we could break through that, but we can also remove that just to clean it up. And for me personally, a few targets in the future would be 10 cents, 13.5 cents, right around that 382 where XRP is today, and then closer to that 702 around 20 cents. And remember, Quant hit the 786, which is about 22 cents for HBAR. Just a game of support and resistance. And huge thanks to Matthew last night where he recorded a support and resistance drill for members right in Discord, just showing a few exercises and drills to do a proper top-down analysis and looking at a variety of charts and then mapping out zones, and then also showing risk to reward. And Matt's a super smart guy. He's been trading for over 7 years, so big thanks. Same thing for QNT, coming up to that 382. That's why I'm mapping it. This is what all these assets are doing. XRP, the same thing. Let's just plot it really quick. Using the March-April high. You can go back to videos in June where I'm showing this very thing. And technically, we're a little below that, but this is the same thing. Just those wicks, the double bottom. Casper, same thing. We have yet to break through that. Remember, HBAR challenged it. And even Algo came back down from 41 cents. I'm still hoping Algo can push up to 50 cents and beyond in the months ahead. So Casper, the same thing. You're looking at resistance. This is just a game. We break through here, you go to the next level. This is common sense. Plot the fib just like we've been doing for dozens of assets if you go back to videos that I did in June. And of course, you can see other wicks all the way back there. API 3 is another one I'm watching. We can see that wick right up to the 236 if you're using that high. If we use that next swing high like that April-March level, you can see we also hit the 382 across the board. So we're on YouTube talking about DAG right here. So go back on YouTube in July, right around this level. We're talking about DAG coming up to 10, 11 cents to the 382. Why? Because the wick is here. We're doing the same March-April high. So we're watching different assets. Now QNT had a big V-shaped, came all the way up here, but there's others that have finally played a little catch-up, such as XRP. Remember, DAG did this back in August. XRP did this a month later. QNT is running almost 2 months ahead of XRP. Okay, so before diving into some XRP news, there's a few more things I want to show you. Let me pull up QNT on the right-hand side. So using that March-April high, we know we came up to the 786, and what's interesting, and we're just using Coinbase right now. Remember, we have years of price history back here before QNT was on Coinbase, and we can see from that high to the low of June, we made it up to that 236. And what's interesting is that API 3 has done the same exact thing thus far. As you can see, from the high to the low, coming up to that 236, hitting that next level of resistance right there, just clockwork. And QNT did the same thing, coming up to the 236, and I'll show you just how clean it is, like to the wick right there. And also as a tangent, because I saw a comment today, and I'm not sure if it's a bot or a real person, but he accused me of stealing charts from other YouTubers. What are you smoking, dude? Do you know how much I chart on a regular basis? How many charts that I save and timestamp in my folder, even within Discord? Do you know how many charts I share just on a weekly, daily basis of different looks? And I don't always post these on Twitter or YouTube for everybody to see. And like these alts, besides Flare, of course, I know these charts really well. I chart these on a daily basis. I'm looking at the typical support and resistance. I'm looking at the Fibonacci. I'm looking at pivots. I'm looking at moving averages, using basic parallel channels or basic patterns in TA. I've been charting these assets on my own for years. Why on earth would I risk my entire reputation to go on YouTube, search a crypto, look at a guy's chart and say, oh, I like that, I'm going to share that. If I ever share a chart, it's because I give them full credit and I retweet it on Twitter and I'm a fan of it. DAG found this completely on my own. API 3, thank you to Stargazer Chad. He's also a big fan of Ultra, so he's the one that put me onto API 3 shortly after launch. XRP since 2017. QNT since 2018 thanks to I Am Legion. He gets full credit for me getting into QNT. He did so many posts. You can go on Twitter and type in I Am Legion. He's not super active anymore. He was an XRP community member that found QNT, found the connections to SIA and the 500 plus banks with SIA, the Italian consortium that connects to Overledger, the entire operating system of QNT that connects legacy infrastructure with some of this new tech. So I Am Legion gets full credit, and that's the only reason I was buying QNT at several dollars. HBAR, I've been buying it and charting it for years, Algo since 2019, Casper for over 12 months on a daily basis. There is not a person in this space that researches Casper more than me. On the fundamental side, going through their website, partnerships, looking at Crunchbase and their investors, or looking at the chart. XLM, not as much, but I like comparing it to others. My position in XRP is way bigger than XLM. I just don't get it, and I've read several books on TA. I use, only so many tools, not too many in indicators, and I mean, eventually people are going to see the same thing for alts, guys. When assets are down 90%, I'm probably going to look up for a target and say that's the target when you're looking at support and resistance for some alts, especially when you look at the RSI, and QNT's RSI popped. Then you're looking at others as they get closer. Casper, same thing. What happened? RSI on the daily time frame was getting closer. Pierce, we get this move. Same thing for Bitcoin, Ethereum, anything in the top 50. So for me, I'm scratching my head. I'm not sure how he would think that. Like, if you're looking at different charts, was it a fractal? Was it the Fibonacci? Was it just basic common sense of support and resistance in different levels? Was it using the 200-day moving average that I often talk about acting as resistance for Casper right there? Same thing for Bitcoin. Same thing for Ethereum. Same thing for XRP. I've been talking about this since this happened and we saw this in the crash. It's just crazy to see those accusations, and you work so hard in a bear market and, you might see 5 positive comments, which makes my day, but then you see one negative one of some angry person. It's like, dude, like, we're all just figuring it out. I'm sharing information. This is just my opinion. It was a lot more fun to do YouTube videos when I had like 200 subscribers because I felt like everybody was more supportive. They weren't as hard on you. When I was first starting YouTube, I thought it was so cool, and I saw people with 100,000 subscribers, and I was like, wow, that would be so cool. And when you get there, you're in for a big surprise. But yeah, that's life, and I'm excited for the next bull market when it in fact does come, guys. We are more than halfway toward the next Bitcoin halving. So if you're a student of the cycles, that's positive. We've yet to have a significant retracement in the market. If you're doom and gloom and you think we go lower, that's fine. I will be buying more. I believe this asset class is going to change the world. If you're new to my channel and you want to check out some other things that I've shared in the past, this was a success case, and guess what, guys? I got wrecked this year. Different alts that I'm in, yes, they crashed 90%. Now, did I buy at the very top? No, but I'm down just like anybody. And I'm still doing my best to make moves during this bear market because that's what matters. My biggest regret was not going as hard as I could in 2020 when alts were creating another low. And I've learned my lesson. This year it's been even harder. I think that this bear market, for anybody that joined in 2021, you're a freaking savage. You're a warrior, because it's actually been even harder on me. At least emotionally and psychologically. Of course, I've had a bunch that happened in my personal life, and it's been fun going through a hurricane and, house and fixing everything up. So that's probably why I'm a little more grumpy, but this too will pass. We're all just trying to figure it out one day at a time together. And you can go back and you can search this as well. Video made public June 27th market update for DAG Constellation price chart, and just going over these looks and targets and check what came to pass and check out our targets and see what happens. Targeting the 4.236 and 40 cents. And that's the same thing that happened. We finally climbed, and where did we go? And this is all I did, and I showed you exactly. And I mean, whether you think this was luck or not, I mean, guess what? Where did the wick go? Right to 39 cents, right on that level. And you can pull this up on TradingView. TradingView is completely free. You can go to tradingview.com or linked in the YouTube video description. I have a link, and you can see Fibonacci retracement on the May 2021 high, that wick, to the lowest wick of May 23rd. Fibonacci retracement, use the 4.236 and the 4618, and this is on Constellation USDT on the Kucoin chart. This was one of my better calls to get a 30x during the bull run, and yes, I agree. During the bull run, I got lucky. Everybody's a genius during an impulse. Just like Tyson says, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. And I'll tell you right now, I've been punched in the face a lot this year. And just like Kevin O'Leary said a few months back, cryptocurrency will be the 12th S&P 500 sector. And it's funny because I was watching some old Shark Tank episodes in 2018, and him and Mark Cuban, that both own Crypto Today and different companies and equity in Web3, they had no idea what it was. They dismissed it right away. And that's been my experience with a lot of older guys that I speak with out here with their CDs and bonds and mutual funds. They don't know what crypto is. When they hear Bitcoin, they think it's just a joke, but they don't understand that there's altcoins that have underlying protocols and there are networks being built that are changing the landscape and changing how things are done today. There is one company that was sent to me and I'm not sure I can share it, but basically it is a company that will help all the biggest brands in the world white label royalties with NFTs to automate everything. And I'm telling you, it is 2022. We have 8 years until 2030. This decade, we are going to see growing adoption more and more. If you focus on current price, you're not going to see what's being built. When I have hard days and I question it, I focus on what's being built. That's what helped me. That's what helped me in 2018 and 2020, and then ride that next wave in 2021. You just got to keep learning and make that plan. And some of those traditional guys are going to be the guys that come in the market and buy the top of the next cycle. And I was talking to my buddy Matthew about this, and I agree. Crypto, it's not just going to be the 12th sector of the S&P. Crypto is an asset class that is going to be huge. The S&P 500 market cap is over 30 trillion, I believe, unless it just crashed again. Crypto reached an all-time high of 3 trillion, already 10% of that value. I believe the crypto market cap in the next decade could surpass 10 trillion. If you want to be super conservative, I would still say 5 to 8 trillion. Like, let's go right here. I show this all the time, but just in case anybody here is new, I just want to point out just this giant parallel channel, and I want to start drawing more of these. I put the Bitcoin halving dates on this for the total market cap for fun, but you can see, even if we just follow this trend, we're at the bottom of this right now. Like, if we hold this 1 trillion, start getting back up to 2 trillion, if we fall down, that would be insane for another 50% crash. But even just along this range, what is that number? That's 7 trillion. Right here, 3 trillion, back to the all-time high. 5 trillion, 6 trillion, 8 trillion. Could we get there this decade? Absolutely. And the 11 sectors include healthcare, materials, real estate, consumer staples, consumer discretionary like hotel spending and travel, utilities, energy, industrials, consumer services, financials, and technology. And remember that crypto, we're building solutions for AI, for big data, for payments, for energy, and real estate. So basically crypto technology or Web3 technology or just DLT could underlie all of this. And yes, I know that not every single DLT application requires a cryptocurrency or a network with great tokenomics and a finite supply. There will still be use cases for digital assets. I don't think there's going to be 9,000 cryptos, but what I do believe is there could be a couple dozen primary chains of the future. Just like a lot of big names or, Sam Bankman-Fried, billionaire, has said, love him or hate him, I would take his words very seriously because I'm sure he's in the know. This is how I see crypto, with a bunch of these networks and different protocols underlying the S&P 500 in the future. Also, we know Ripple the company joins the ISO 222 standards body back in 2020. I shared this and then I saw you today make an article about it right after I tweeted it, so I feel like they just used this tweet. And we know this, and I just want to emphasize, Matt Hamilton crushing the FUD, thank you sir, against all these projects. A guy commented the other day that Casper's not going to make it because it's not ISO compliant. Casper does not need to be ISO compliant, guys. ISO 222 is a framework, an open standard for messaging since 2004. It's just messaging. And even Casper has commented and they said, if we do payments, we can do that. It's not a necessity. Now, with that being said, I am bullish on alts that have regulatory frameworks and are compliant. You have to understand that Casper's already at the World Economic Forum. It has contracts with large companies, Fortune 500s, some of the biggest insurance companies and telecom giants, along with IBM. So I love my ISO tokens. I still call them ISO tokens, even though the tokens themselves are not compliant. XRP, Algo, XDC, I argue HBAR. QNT with its own framework. We know Gilbert doesn't care, so he made his own way before everybody. But yeah, I love my ISO tokens, but they're not the only projects in the space. See Casper alongside NTT, huge, Google, JP Morgan, boo. And this is what I was referring to, Matt Hamilton. So we have the Moon Carl naming an ISO 222 compliant altcoin project, and he says none, because ISO 222 does not certify cryptocurrencies. It certifies the process and description of financial messages. The companies behind Algorand or Ripple with their network RippleNet, they can go through and get ISO certification and get that stamp of approval, just like being SOC 2 certified. But overall, ISO compliance and seeing this is a great thing for projects like XRP, Algo, you name it. This is how I feel with Hedera adding a new government council member with over 500 billion assets under management. Price just doesn't move. Shared by HBAR. We have Johnny Deaton right here commenting, if there's no settlement between the SEC and Ripple the company, it goes to a decision by Judge Torres. I would expect her ruling between March 30th and June 30th. And I know in previous interviews, John has said it's possible that we get settlement by May of 2023. And I would love nothing more. I'm going to leave it to the experts, including Johnny Deaton. We got Jeremy Hogan. We got James Filan. We got Bill as well right here, and Fred Rispoli. So big thank you to everybody and all attorneys providing their input for the XRP community. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate hitting the like button and subscribing. Let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, my LinkTree is linked right in the top of this YouTube video description with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.